All right, moving on to this week's first game. We have two more stellar teams.
Starting off with a bang.
Starting out with the big game here. This is Indiana at Rutgers. It's their 9th meeting. Indiana leads the series 5-3. Currently, Indiana sits at a big 3-4 in the conference overall, and Rutgers is 3-3 overall, 0-3 in the Big Ten. Rutgers is actually favored to win this game. Not that it matters, but they're coming off a bye week. Even though they're ranked lower than Indiana in the ESPN rankings, they are favored to win by 3. Now, Indiana is coming off a loss to Maryland, which makes 4 losses in a row for the Hoosiers. Like I said, they're 3-4 overall. They need to win 3 out of the next 5 to be bowl eligible. And they've got Penn State, Ohio State, and Purdue coming up. Games they're not likely to win, which only gives them 2 options that I think they have a shot at. Rutgers and Michigan State. So they have to win this game against Rutgers. These might be the only 2 games they have a chance to win. They're already expected to lose to Rutgers. Tom Allen, he's been the coach at Indiana now since 2015. He has a losing record at Indiana. He is 28-35. It looks like he peaked around the 2019 season with the 8-5 record. Pretend you're Tom Allen. Your job is probably on the line. How do you rally this team and break the losing streak to at least finish this season with a win?
I don't know.
Or on a high note somehow.
I know. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'll just be honest. I really don't know. I don't know what happened to Indiana. You know, they started off with, you know, honestly, we can call it a great win now. Like, they started off their season with a win against Illinois. Like, Illinois is still in the hunt. You know, they're looking at a title berth potentially. But just since Indiana played Western Kentucky, they've just looked absolutely anemic on offense, and their defense just can't stop anything now. So I guess, like, offensively, they saw some progress against a pretty bad Maryland defense, but they still turned the ball over 3 times. So they're still incredibly inconsistent. You know, if they don't turn the ball over, then suddenly they're 4-3 and have a much better shot at bowl eligibility. And maybe Tom Allen.
4-4. This is Indiana.
4-4. What did I say?
4-3.
4-3. Well, I'm sorry.
Rutgers will be 4-3 if they win.
Yeah, no, I'm doing a hypothetical. Like, if Indiana doesn't turn the ball over 3 times against Maryland, then they're 4-3, and their prospects in the bowl game, are much better. His name's Tom Allen. That's what you said, right?
Yeah.
Why did I think it wasn't Tom? Oh, because it sounds like Tim Allen. I was like, no, it's not Tim Allen. I got Home Improvement on the mind. No, if they win those games, though, I mean, his job's probably not on the line. I don't know if his job is on the line now per se, because I got to believe that Indiana's expectations aren't, you know, sky high every single year, although maybe they got a little bit of taste of what they could potentially be back in 2019. Because, like, we all thought that they had a shot at winning that game against Ohio State in 2020. So I don't know. Maybe they just got a little excited about that. I know you mentioned Penn State, Ohio State, and Purdue on their schedule. I'm already counting those as losses. I think Rutgers is really the only game they are likely to win. And I say likely, like, not very confident at all. But honestly, when it comes down to it, I don't know that they're going to win another game, especially if they don't beat Rutgers.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember that 2020 season. We were like rooting for Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
And then they fell apart, and they've been falling apart ever since. What were they? Last season they were 2-9, 3-9.
I think 3-9. Yeah.
Yeah. Or 2-10. They didn't do very well last season.
No.
Switching over to Rutgers, the outlook for Rutgers isn't all that different. They have 3 losses in a row, but because they're coming off the bye week, they also need to win 3 out of the next 5 to be bowl eligible. And their schedule includes Minnesota, Michigan, Penn State, and Maryland. They're favored against Indiana, like we said. Michigan State is a toss-up. even if they do get 2 more wins, that's one shy of a bowl game, because I don't think they're going to beat Minnesota, Michigan, Penn State, or Maryland. That's probably off the table. So Greg Schiano then, Greg Schiano was head coach at Rutgers from 2001 to 2011. I just found this out. Well, I didn't just find it out. I was looking it up and didn't realize that he had this split time at Rutgers when he was the head coach 10 years ago. And then from 2001 to 2011, had that 68-67 record. He actually spent several years at Ohio State as a defensive coordinator and obviously was good.
Mm-hmm.
Ohio State has had a tremendous defense for quite a while. So obviously doing well there. He comes back to Rutgers in 2019 with lots of support from staff, from fans, from players. His current tenure record at his current tenure, not tenure, but his current tenure record at Rutgers is 11-17. You could say he's still rebuilding. He's coming into, this would be 19, 20, 21, 22. So this is his 4th year. So next year for sure, he's playing all his recruits. So we could call this a rebuilding year, but they're going on 8 seasons. So those 4 seasons before Greg Schiano without a winning season, like less than 6 wins. If Rutgers wins, I think it's a death blow to Indiana, like we were talking about. Probably Tom Allen's career. I wouldn't doubt that he's on the hot seat if Tom Allen is on the hot seat if Indiana loses. If they don't win, if Rutgers doesn't win, I'm starting to wonder if Greg Schiano's career now is going to be on the line. Do you think Rutgers can win this game and save Greg Schiano?
So I knew Greg Schiano was the coach at Rutgers before, but I didn't know the time. So he was coach of Rutgers 2 years before they entered the Big Ten, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he never
11, 12, 13. Yeah. Did they join in 13?
13 or 14.
Okay.
I want to say. So so that kind of blows for him then, doesn't it? Because I believe Rutgers was in the American Athletic Conference before then. I might be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Might want to look that up. But either way, it wasn't the Big Ten. So he kind of gets a raw deal there, being the I don't know, sort of prodigal son figure that comes, or I don't know, maybe a savior complex probably, where he once brought Rutgers a whole bunch of glory, and it actually sounds like he was barely 500.
Yeah.
But now he comes back and Rutgers is in a conference that is leaps and bounds better than where they were, and he's got to figure out a way to get Rutgers better than them. Like, that really kind of sucks for him. Yeah. But I mean, that being said, I still don't necessarily think his job is on the line. I think Rutgers is pretty self-aware of where they are in the Big Ten and the national landscape. I think if Rutgers is successful at all under Schiano, it's not going to be for another couple of years when, Schiano is able to get all of the pieces that he needs to compete for bowl games. I mean, they're probably going to be better next year than they are this year, but this is definitely a long-term build situation. And I honestly think that Rutgers' ceiling is, at least as long as they're in the Big Ten, barring any sort of huge culture-wide turnaround in the Rutgers program that leads to some insane recruiting wins, their ceiling is probably 7-8 wins a year max with a decent bowl game. And then the rest of this particular season, I mean, it looks super bleak for them. So they need 3 wins just to get bowl eligible, but I only see one where I like them in. Maryland and Minnesota could have been interesting, but those are both road games, so likely losses there. Yeah. Michigan and Penn State those are out of the question for Rutgers. Michigan State is a toss-up depending on how things go.
How they're feeling that day, yeah.
How they're feeling.
How the Spartans are feeling that day.
Either way, how either team is feeling that day.
Yeah.
But yeah, when it comes down to it, I don't see them doing better than 4-8 this season.
Oof. And you hate to see it, because I think you could almost put Rutgers in that same position that we would say like Michigan would be, or maybe UCLA fans, that you've got this history at Rutgers, the birthplace of football. I mean, they basically invented the game and taught everybody else how to play it, and now everybody is schooling them.
Right.
You almost want to see them get back to their glory days. I know Alabama looked at that when they brought in Nick Saban. At Michigan, we saw them be destroyed through the Rich Rod Hoke years and gradually build up now with Harbaugh. UCLA has gone up and down like that. It's I would think it's kind of frustrating for the fan base, when you think about that history.
I just wonder, like, how rich is that history though? Because Rutgers hasn't been good for a couple decades. Maybe like
it's been a while, but I mean, they go
years.
back to what, like 1869 was their first year. I mean, that's 20 years. Wait, 79, 80, almost 20 years. No, I'm sorry, 10 years before Michigan even got started. So yeah. So they were in the American Athletic Conference for 2013. And that's it. Prior to that, they were Big East. They were Big East from 91 to 2012.
The Big East got renamed to the American Athletic Conference.
Oh, did it?
It did, yeah. That's what happened.
Oh, yeah, okay.
The Big East became the AAC, yeah.
All right, well, that makes more sense.
It does, yeah.
And I'm suddenly realizing we forgot to do our prediction for the. Oh no, this is the first game. I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is.
You know what? I lost track because we're doing this. We're doing our layout differently because we're doing team by team rather than game by game. Well, let's look at our predictions. I have Rutgers. Well, okay. So through the top secret team rivalry score predictor, I have Rutgers winning 28 to Indiana's 20.
Ooh, 28-20. All right. So for whatever reason, I wrote my prediction on 2 sticky notes. And here's why. I wrote it too big.
You wrote it too big.
Yeah. The angry chivalry people. I'm not writing this as we go.
All right.
35-24.
Nice. 35-24, 28-20. Yeah, all right.
Angry chivalry people. That's what I got for you, Rutgers. I'm sorry.